speaker this evening, a former Ohio BPA state officer and BPA alumni. Matt King is the CEO and co-founder of Drone Camp, the top drone education company in the United States. King has been featured on USA Today, Fox, NBC, MTV, Comedy Central, and Huffington Post for his innovative and crazy ways of thinking. In 2016, he received calls from Shark Tank and The Today Show to feature the Drone Camp story. King attends Ball State University, pursuing a degree in emerging media and telecommunications, and was awarded the Better Business Bureau Student of Integrity Award. Drone Camp has now grown to 7 states, and each location sees at least 150 students per month. King's main goal is to continue to expose children to drone technology at a younger and younger age, and is excited for what the future holds. Please join me in welcoming Matt King.
I requested that song. Oh, what's up? Well, hey y'all, how are ya? I love this time of year because we all get to travel. Where's my people from Cincinnati? That's my crib. Where you at? So y'all know that you're on Tinder searching everyone in the region. I'm kidding. Where's people from Columbus? Okay, Cleveland, where you at? Woo! They at the game. Okay. Everyone else? Wow, I should have started with that. Very cool. I always love traveling. I want to open up a store. I was in New York a couple years ago in Brooklyn. Actually, no, it was the Bronx. And I was there for a youth conference. It was a missions trip. We stayed in an orphanage. And we woke up one morning. There's about 35 of us. And my youth pastor reaches in his pocket. He's got a giant wad of $1 bills. And he gives all of us $1. There's about 35 of us. So he's got 35 $1 bills, and he just hands us all $1. He says, all right, this is about the community where we're staying with. This is about how much they have to spend on lunch for one day. So your job is, here's your $1. You cannot spend any more. You can't, burrow together and combine your dollars. You get $1. And it was really interesting to see what people did. A lot of people went to the local supermarket and they stared at this giant wall and they bought Cheetos, donuts, Capri Suns. And there was an 87-year-old lady who managed our orphanage. I never know her name. She just said, "Child, call me Grandma." That's what she told everyone. I said, okay. So I went over to Grandma. I said, "Hey, Grandma, I got this $1 bill. What should I do with it? I can only spend $1 for lunch." And she goes, "Ooh, child, you go down to the local supermarket and tell them Grandma sent you." I'm like, what the heck? What am I supposed to do with the $1? She's like, "No, just to do that." So I walk down the local supermarket. I'm seeing my other youth members rolling up with their Doritos and little donuts, and they're just so mad because they were lifting, it was leg day, protein, and they're eating like a bag of Doritos. So I walk into the supermarket. I give my guy, pull out the $1, and I go, "Hey, Grandma sent me." He's like, "Yeah, where's your $1? You already knew." So I hand him the $1 bill, and he goes behind the counter, and he gets this big slice of bread. He cuts it in half. He puts mayonnaise on it. He puts bologna, ham, and a couple slices of cheese, and he says, "Here you go. Tell Grandma that she's doing a great job in the community." And I'm like, bro, I got a sandwich. I'm rolling back, they're like in their Capri Suns, mini donuts. I'm like, "What's up, man? I got this sandwich." But it really hit me because that's the story of life. Technically, if you want to get technical about it, it's for another day, but we're really dealt $1. And most of us take our $1 to the store, and we look at this giant wall of options that has already been predetermined with pricing. No one networks, asks your elders for advice, or more importantly, creates your own option. So this whole thing started when I was about 15, 16 years old. And it's a term that I kind of coined called leveraging your age. A lot of people made fun of me because I was a young guy. And in the summertime, my dad told me, Matt, you gotta get out, you gotta get a job. Like, you're not sitting here all summer. So most of my guys, my friends, worked at Kings Island because that was right around the corner. Other people did fast food. I said, you know what? I want to try to do something where I'm not working the 9 to 5. So I went to my local library and I checked out a video camera. And I called up 10 people that were running for public office in Cincinnati. I said, look, I've got this pitch for you. I'm 15, 16 years old at the time. I'm not going to charge you, but I want to film a commercial for your business, for your campaign. I said, but I have one condition. I know it takes money to run for office, so I know that people, you're going to be calling business owners, asking for money. If they see my video and they say, hey, look, I saw your video, who did it, refer them to me. How many of you would have taken that deal if you were the politician? Did it cost you a dime? Right? Well, the problem is, you're 55 years old, you're running for public office in Cincinnati, and your head branding guy is a 15-year-old kid. That's what happened. I gave this offer to 10 politicians, 4 of them took me up on my offer. 3 of them won out of the 4. I did that my junior year, actually my sophomore year of high school. And the amount of calls I got from their donors paid for the entire 4 years of my college education at an out-of-state school in 2 months. I didn't spend a dime on the camera. I downloaded some simple video footage and it went from there. I mean, I was 15, 16 years old and getting calls from Cintas. We did stuff for MTV, True TV, Comedy Central. And we were just getting these phone calls that were coming in, and I just really couldn't keep up with that. And so I started hiring my friends, and it really became a streamlined system. And we were doing this. We had something here, and business owners would call me all the time. They would own car dealerships. Hey, Matt, I own a car dealership. Can you come out? And there's this new form of technology happening. It's like drone technology. Can you like drone my lot? Or, hey, Matt, I do real estate in Cincinnati. I've got a $3 million listing of this house. I want some aerial photography, can you do it? It was kind of cool that I was getting these phone calls, right? I mean, young guy, this is pretty cool. I'm working for myself. Didn't understand what the word taxes meant at the time. But it was cool. My dad was freaking out. He said, Matt, we gotta incorporate. It's like, you're making too much money at your age. You don't want to get sued. So we ended up making an LLC called Matt King TV Media LLC. And that was kind of my umbrella. I was a single share stockholder, and we just kind of went from there. I didn't own a drone. Granted, we were making money at the time where I was just putting it all away. I didn't really spend anything. And I was like, you know what? I don't know about the legalities of drone technology. Can you just buy a drone? You couldn't buy them at Target or Best Buy at the time. You had to order them from China. And can I legally fly a drone up in the air and take photos of houses? How many of you think you can legally do that 4 years ago? This was 4 years ago. Yeah, all of you would be in jail. So, no, I'm kidding. It turns out, this is ridiculous, but the Federal Aviation Administration said in order to fly drones, you had to be a licensed airline pilot. What? I mean, I'm standing on the ground flying a drone. Are you kidding me? So, I was in college at this time. I was like a freshman, sophomore year. I had my whole 4 years paid for. I had already paid for 2 years of my school. I was a sophomore. I had money in the bank to pay for my junior and senior year. And the brilliant guy I was, I cashed out and went to flight school. And my parents almost killed me. Can you imagine the advisors in the room, you know, your students, having the whole 4 years of their college paid for that they worked on, and they said, you know what, I got half of the school paid for, whatever, I'm gonna go fly planes. Why are you flying planes? I want to fly planes to fly drones. That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And that's what I did. So I'm doing flight school, I'm getting this thing on the road, and I almost received my pilot's license. when the government changes the rules. $15,000 down the tubes. And they said you have to be 16 years old. They got rid of the pilot's license. No more pilot's license. 16 years old, minimum age. You need to pass a written test. That costs $150 to take. I was spending $200 an hour in a plane, not counting the fuel. Pilot's license, minimum 40 hours. I was talking to one of the guys who's pursuing the pilot's license. You take 40 hours times $200 an hour, plus fuel, plus instructions, and books, and insurance, it adds up. And I was almost done, and then they just pulled the rug. I started a business while I was doing my pilot's license called droningabout.com, and it got a lot of news and press. It was basically the Uber for drones. So I found these people that had these special licenses at the time, which it was called a 333 license, is a technical term, but you had to have a pilot's license. There were only a handful of people in the country that had this. I said, hey, look, you're going to pay me per month, and I'm going to put you on my website. I'm going to send it to every real estate agent, contractor, insurance adjuster, and we're going to get you business, and I'll take 15% of whatever you make. The problem is, people were going out and buying drones and doing photos of real estate houses and commercial use, and they didn't have a license. And they were getting fined $25,000 every time they did it. I had a friend in college who, he didn't believe me, he went out and bought a drone and did a wedding videography business. He did 4 weddings in the summer and got fined $100,000. He didn't have an LLC, which is what I had, which was a business, which for all of you business people out here, an LLC separates you from your personal assets to your business assets. I could do that. I could get sued. They couldn't come after me. They come after the business. The guy that did this had $100,000 in fines without an LLC. He needed to personally be liable. So the business worked because it kind of scared people and thinking, okay, look, we need licensed people to do the job. And the business took off, but what do you do when the government pulls the rug underneath you? And so you have to be 16 years old, you have to pass a written test, it's $150. I was freaking out because my business was on licensed pilots. But then I remember when I was 15 years old, and when a 55-year-old guy that ran for office gave me a shot. And I said, why don't we give kids shots at flying drones? People thought I was crazy. They're like, Matt, this is ridiculous. All the drone training technology, it's geared for 35, 40-year-olds on up. No one would think to teach a 7-year-old how to fly a drone. Well, I babysat kids in high school that had phones at the age of 6. They were Snapchatting before I had Snapchat. I'm like, these kids are a lot smarter than what you think. Give them a shot. All my money was gone. I spent it on flight school. I owned 1 drone, it was like $800, and the domain name dronecamp.org was available for $2.99. And I bought it. With 1 drone, and I said, you know what, let's make a website. Let's get kids registered. If we get enough kids to be profitable, we'll buy the drones and we'll do the camp. If not, we'll refund all the money and we'll go do whatever. It was a crazy idea. Mind you, we didn't have any property to do the camp. We didn't have any drones. We didn't have any insurance. And we were advertising ourselves as Drone Camp for Kids with like, I don't know, a couple of 20-year-olds and a website. So we started calling businesses up and said, hey, look, I got this idea. If I want to teach kids how to fly, boom, they would just hang up right then and there. I called real estate agents who were listing high-end commercial land that was just sitting there for years. I wanted to do it. They said, no, Matt, you're not going to happen. I called farmers. Hey, this is what I want to do. We want to teach kids how to fly. No. My mom's a pastor, and she said, why don't you call churches? I'm like, no, I'm not calling churches. She's like, call churches. So we called churches. I called 50 churches in Indianapolis. And 49 of them told us no. You kind of change your sales pitch after 49 people tell you no. So we no longer use the word drone. We said we were doing a science and technology camp for kids. We told our insurance provider that as well. No insurance agent would be, they're like, what do you want us to insure? Yeah, we want a 7-year-old to fly drone. No, we don't want to touch it. So we insured it as science and technology camps. One church said yes, and they said, we expect you to contribute back to the church. We had a meeting with the pastor, and I'm like, look, I don't know how much to give you. I don't even know if this is going to succeed. Because the Bible tells me to give 10% of whatever I make. I said, whatever you do on your location, I'll give you 10% of whatever you make. There's a lot of money by the end of the summer. So we put the yard signs up, we did this, and kids just started rolling in. And we did it in a church parking lot. The first camp we had were 2 kids, and they were twins. And the mom was rolling up. People think they were getting, like, ripped off. I mean, they come rolling in. We didn't have enough money for t-shirts. I mean, like, we're in t-shirts and not even our logo. And the mom goes, do you mind if, like, I stick around to see my kid fly? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then it was just word of mouth. And it started going and going and going and going. One of the things that really separated us was we had the idea in May. We rolled it out at the end of May. And everyone we talked to thought we were crazy because who registers their kid for summer camp in May? They do it now. Right now is the hot time, January, February, March. So we said, look, you don't predict when you're going to Kings Island 2 months out. Let's make it a day. So we made it one day. We charged $99 for 4 hours, and it cost us $4 to send a kid to camp. We had a local food provider sponsor the food for us. We didn't even buy the drones yet. We just started waiting to see, and it just kind of took off from there. Now, I'm proud to say, in less than 11 months, we're doing business in 8 states. Last week, we just partnered with the United States military. We're doing camps on a military base in Guam. And now we partnered with the drone companies that we fly, and we get all of our drones completely for free. So if you think about this, our margins are incredible because we figured out a way to get rid of all of our expenses. More kids in our camp are interested in purchasing a drone than anyone else. So we use this to our advantage. So I said, look, let's get the drone companies on the phone because that was our biggest expense. After insurance, the drones cost about, at the time, $1,000 a piece. And we had 20 kids come to camp and we flew 9 drones at a time. So you're looking at $9,000 worth of drones. And I said, how can we get that down to 0? And my business partner looked at me and said, man, you're crazy. We can't get that down to 0. He's like, I can't even cut it in half. I'm like, I think we can. Get the drone companies on the phone. And granted, they made this in China. We couldn't get them on the phone. So we sent them emails of kids flying. And at the time, if you Googled kids and drones and went to Google Images, you didn't get a 7-year-old having fun flying a drone. You got like military drones in Syria. I mean, it was horrible, the things that you were seeing. So we pounded metadata through all of our pictures on the internet. We posted so many photos of kids flying drones, and in our tags we put happy kid flying drone. I mean, it was all over the internet, and so companies started to call us and said, hey, look, we like what you're doing. We want you to only fly our drones. We'll give them to you completely for free, and we want you to push promo codes to the kids. I said, absolutely, no problem. So our food was taken care of. Our drones were taken care of. Our property pretty much was taken care of, but the only thing we really needed to pay for was staffing and then the insurance. Where's my Butler Tech people? Where are you at? Yeah, this year we're doing drone camp at Butler Tech. It's going to be awesome. We just partnered with Taco Bell. They're going to be our corporate sponsor, and they're providing food for all of our camps in the whole summer, and they're advertising all their locations when we do a camp. So it's pretty cool. And then also, so the way we got that deal was I met with them. I said, hey, look, here's what I want to do. And the owner of Taco Bell looked at me and he said, Matt, if you tell me you're going to put our logo on a t-shirt, like walk out the door. Like we get sponsorships all the time. And I was thinking in my head, well, that's exactly what I was going to tell you. We were going to put the logo on a t-shirt. So I'm sitting here with the Taco Bell guy, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm thinking, okay, we got 9 drones. I got it. I said, sir, usually we fly the same drone, and we have 9 of them. And it's drone number 1, drone number 2, drone number 3. Let's turn it into NASCAR. this is so dumb that I think about this, but I'm like, let's name the items of the Taco Bell menu as the drones. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, little Timmy's flying the Doritos Locos taco drone. He's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, they will love it. And that's what we did. So the items of the Taco Bell menu are named after the drones. It's so ridiculous. But the thing is, we made it work. So many times, especially owning a business in college, people think that you have to be loaded to start a business. Or, your dad started something and gave you money. I'm here to tell you that I created an international drone company with $2.99. We'll be doing over $250,000 this year. It can be done, and I think that BPA is one of those organizations that really empowers you to leverage your age. If I'm 45 years old and I wanted to start this drone company, it would not have worked. Because people want to hire the young nerd, the technology guy, the creative young person that can outwork, can out-hustle, and outsmart their 35, 45, 50-year-old employee. When I was a senior in high school, in my summertime, I sent emails to every CEO in Cincinnati. And I said, I want to grab lunch with you. And I grabbed lunch with a CEO every single week in my summertime in Cincinnati. Which was brilliant because most of the time I didn't pay for lunch. I said, this is how I pay for college right here. Y'all go to college or wherever, you call a CEO, they'll take you out, you'll go golfing, it'll be great. But the thing is, you gotta flatter people sometimes. I said, look, I'm researching your company, I really like it. I'd love to learn more about how you started, how you got off, and I use my age as a crutch to say, look, I'm new to this, I admire you, can we talk? If a 45-year-old were to do that, he'd be like, yeah, okay, no, done. And it worked. So take advantage of your age now, because I'm kind of I just turned 21. I'm kind of like on the back end now of like, I'm getting ready for my career. I need to understand what's going on. I know, when you said 21, wow, he's 21, yeah. How many thought I was 21? Raise your hand. 30? No, I'm kidding. So, this whole leveraging your age is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about. School, college, they're going to talk to you about how to manage your books, manage your numbers, how to follow the law and not get in trouble and do everything to the book. And that's fine. But they're not going to tell you how to leverage your age to get what you want. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, a lot of people said, Matt, you're crazy. Like, why would you do this? You're kind of like you're not using your qualities. You're just using time. So what? Use time. You've got it. So we're getting ready to do drone camp. And my business partner, Daniel, he paid for his summer. Actually, he paid for his college by doing a car detailing business. So I don't want to think that you have to be like this tech company. He washed cars and boats in Indianapolis all summer, and that paid for his college. So you've got two guys that started a drone company. I was in media, I did TV, and Daniel washed cars. And we just did it, and we made it work. And Daniel was one of those persons who, he said to me, Matt, we're just going to put up yard signs, and we're going to make this work, and it'll be great. And that's one of the times where in life you kind of have to look back and say, okay, look, what am I comfortable with? Am I comfortable with just running another Indiana location, or can we expand this? And so BPA teaches you guys how to think differently and expand it. This isn't something where, we just wanted to be content with where we were and did something in the state of Indiana. We said, look, we've got something here that no one has in the country. And you're telling me that you want to, for year two, you want to put up yard signs and keep it in Indiana. So why would you do that? It doesn't cost us anything. We're an internet-based company, basically. People register online. We were #1 on Google, where you still are, #1 on Bing, #1 everywhere. And I said, look, let's license the brand. So it's not necessarily a franchise, but people now can mask themselves under the Drone Camp umbrella. So we have a name for ourselves, we're #1 on Google, and people will pay for that. You know, if someone wants to start a drone camp company in Texas, good luck, because when you Google drone camp, we're the ones that pop up. So we contact companies, and companies contact us and say, hey Matt, we want to do what you're doing, teach us how to do it. And it's really funny to see, like, we've never met in person, we talk on the phone, and then I fly out there and I meet with them, and they're like, okay, like, is this your intern? Like, what's going on here? I'm like, no, how are you? My name's Matt. Like, nice to meet you. Let's go over the paperwork and everything. And we've expanded, we've grown, but more importantly, we stayed true to who we were, and we did the best at it. Daniel and I started getting a little too comfortable, and we started hiring staff, and we started selling drones online, and we started doing drone training technology and videos. And we lost touch with why we were successful. And it was teaching kids how to fly. So for all of you that decide to go start your own business, be the best at one thing and kill it. Don't try to run an apparel shop, a media company, a drone education. Stick with one thing and be the best at it, because that's where you become valuable in life. And to wrap up, we're excited for this year because we've only been doing it 11 months. We started this May of 2016, and we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. In our location, you see about 150 students per month, and we've got 8 of them. But we never lose touch with where we came from. We got a call in Indiana from this really big college. They said, hey, look, we see what you're doing. We want you to run drone camp at our university. We're going to pay you to do it. But we remembered that church from where we started and said, you know what, this church gave us a shot. I don't think it's morally right for us to just go to the bigger company, especially when this is our roots. So we said, hey, look, we're going to stay at this 2-acre church parking lot as opposed to 90 acres that they were offering us. And you're probably thinking, man, that was a really dumb move. But we do that for a reason, because it makes us not forget where we came from. If we were to just go and jump ship and go with these huge companies and just grow, we would lose touch with what we did best, and we would forget where we came from. And so just like the 55-year-old that gave me a shot, we are giving kids shots every single day. We were so shocked when we do these camps. We did it because we wanted to make money. And we wanted to pay for our school, and we thought it was hip and cool. But we got a lot of phone calls from parents whose kids had disabilities. And we would get phone calls, hey, I just want to make sure my kid can come to camp. I'm like, okay, why? Well, my kid has cerebral palsy. My kid's in a wheelchair. I hate summertime because my kid can't walk, my kid can't swim, my kid can't hit a ball, my kid can't run. You guys are, whether you know it or not, you guys are creating a niche in this field that gives these kids shots at life to figure out, okay, look, I may not be the best at flying a drone, but how does a drone talk to the receiver? Oh, there's something with a frequency. Oh, I want to be an engineer. Oh, hey, I really like aerial photography. I like taking photos. How do I color grade? Photoshop. Oh, I want to be a graphic designer. So this drone technology is opening a gateway for students all across the country to figure out what they want to do when they grow up, and to say it's okay, you can fly drones and you can succeed in life. And when you turn 16, we can train you how to make money doing this. So coming full circle, my first slide had my contact info on it. Your business people, the first person that sends me an email, I'm going to mail them a drone. How many of you wrote down my email? should have. I'm not here to lecture you or scold you, but you've got a drone technology guy up here. We're expanding, we've got locations, and my email was up on the slide. So for the people that wrote it down, the first person that sends me an email, I'm going to mail you a drone. And we're going to network and talk and everything. For those of you that didn't, feel free to talk to me afterwards. And I'll be more than happy to share with you my story, connect with you, and help you in any ways that you can. But thank you guys so much. BPA has done so much in my life. And I hope that you cherish this time here and remember where you came from. Thank you.